Scott. Ask Scott.
Hey, Scott. I'm a new listener to the podcast, and let me begin by thanking you for your show and all the great information that you provided. Really appreciate your kind of giving spirit and willingness to share. The question that I have may have been asked before. I'm a newer listener to your program, as I mentioned already. So excuse me if it's been asked before, but I have a single product on Amazon that's manufactured in Indonesia. And the primary cost for me for the product turns out to be shipping from overseas. So unless I order approximately 4,000 units, which turns out to be about 3/4 of a shipping container, it's really difficult for me to keep my shipping costs per unit down and my margins up. I sell approximately 350 units per month, so I can't have all 4,000 units shipped to Amazon without paying excessive storage fees there at Amazon. But I also don't want to keep the boxes at home. Doesn't make sense for me to do that. Are there any other options out there? For example, is there an economical way to store the excess inventory at a warehouse in the United States and arrange to ship 1,000 units every 2 to 3 months to Amazon from the warehouse? Thank you, and continue to encourage us to take action.
Okay, well, first off, I can't respond by name because you didn't leave your name, and that's okay. I would like to say, hey, thanks for the question, Don, or whatever your name is. But again, just to kind of remind you guys, if you do submit a question, please leave your first name and just a brief question. That would be great. But I'm going to address this question. This is my first thought on this, right? First off, okay, how much savings are we talking about? Are we talking about 20 cents a unit? Are we talking about $1 a unit? Are we talking $2 a unit? Like, what are we talking? I think that's the question that I'd be asking myself, or I'd be asking you if we were having that cup of coffee that I always talk about, right? So that would be the first question. Because then the second thing would be like, well, does it really make sense to have 4,000 units shipped here, and then have to store them? Like, so then we have to balance that out, right? So my second thought on this, I guess, would be, okay, I'm sure we can find a storage unit here in the States that can house those units, and then you would just pay a storage fee every single month. That storage fee might be $100 a month. It might be $200 a month. Well, how fast are you going to go through those units? You're saying you're selling about 350 units. Let's say it's 300 to keep the math simple, right? So it's going to take you a year to sell those 4,000 units. So if it's going to take you a year to sell those, how much storage fees is it going to cost to hold them? So this way here you can, get that discount. So I would be more or less not looking at it at the discount side of things. I'd be looking at it more of the convenience side of things. So what I mean by that is having inventory in a storage unit here allows you to have a big month and not get caught, right? Where you're kind of like, now all of a sudden you're starting to sell really, really strong, and then you have to worry about getting inventory. So that would be one way to kind of have some inventory here. So if sales really start to pick up, you're going to have the inventory. So that would be the positive to doing that. The negative, of course, is to have those sitting into a storage unit. Now, no matter where you put them, you're going to pay storage. And if you're saying that you want to automate that process too, or at least make a phone call and say, hey, can you ship in 1,000 units to Amazon for me? That's going to be a fee, right? So there's not any service right now that I'm aware of. And if there's listeners right now that have a solution to this, or even some recommendations, please, let us know. You can do it in the blog comments, or you can even do it by sending me an email, scott@theamazingseller.com, and I could obviously report back. But I do know of a service called ShipWire. Okay, shipwire.com. And what they do is they do exactly what FBA does, is they do fulfillment, okay, by their warehouse. So they will store them, but again, you're going to have a storage fee, and you're going to have more or less like a fulfilled by whatever their service call is, right? So like fulfilled by Amazon, you're paying the pick and pack fee. Well, I'm sure that you're going to pay a pick and pack fee for this service as well. You're always going to pay for a service regardless. So again, hopefully, by me kind of working through this with you, like right here, right now, that's my initial thoughts. So I'd have to weigh it out and say, okay, do I plan on having a bigger fourth quarter? So I'm not going to sit on 4,000 units for a year. And then the next order that you do, are you going to order more? Are you going to order 6,000 units to try to fill that container to get even a better deal? And if that's the case, well, now we need more storage in this facility. So now we have to plan that out, right? So everything really comes down to, like, are you doing this for the savings, or are you doing this for the convenience, or are you doing it for both, right? It might be both, but with the same, I guess the same thing in mind is that you are now introducing a little bit more to your workflow, okay? Because now you're going to have these different elements and these different pieces. Doesn't mean it's not right, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It's just these are the things that you need to think about when deciding to do that. Now, I haven't used Shipwire as of yet. I have been told that it's really a great service, and who knows? I may use it in the future. What's really great about that service, from what I hear, is it's a lot like Amazon FBA, except these people will also fulfill it for you to your website visitors or customers that go through that, or a sales funnel or something like that. We know that we can use Amazon FBA to fulfill our website sales too. We know that, and if you don't, you know it now. I just told you. We can do that, and we can set it up. There's a plugin that you can have for your WordPress blog if you have that. Even Shopify, I believe, has something for that. And then what it'll do is it'll just basically notify your account that you just sold one. It'll create a work order, in a sense, or a shipping order, and then Amazon will pick and pack it. You just won't pay the Amazon fees for basically selling it through Amazon. So like anything, there's always pros and cons, right? But that is an option. And, hopefully this has helped you kind of work through this decision, because it is a decision, right? And you have to see what's right for you and currently what the main goal is for doing this, all right? So hopefully this has helped you, or anyone else with this similar situation. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session, and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business, so definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is really, really good. What I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business, and this way here you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.